Wrestletown USA began in 1973 with the arrival of the greatest of all time, Dan Gable.
And the Hawkeyes have rolled out for the first 3 weeks.
Olympic and world champions, commentary brands have sustained this high standard of excellence well into the current century. And now, with the explosion of girls wrestling across the nation, the addition of women's wrestling at Iowa, and the onboarding of head coach Clarissa Chun, the Wrestletown USA brand is being flexed once more. But throughout its evolution, make no mistake, one thing has stayed constant. There's no place in the wrestling world quite like Iowa City, Iowa. It is Wrestletown USA.
Deep in the heart of the American Midwest, known for its humble roots, unmatched work ethic, and hospitality, is the epicenter of the oldest sport in the world, characterized by its unrivaled highs and heartbreaking lows, wrestling. Beginning half a century ago with legendary Hawkeye head coach Dan Gable, the University of Iowa built a wrestling dynasty, winning 37 Big Ten championships and 24 NCAA titles, catapulting wrestlers from small-town gyms to Olympic glory and bringing athletes of the highest caliber from across the country and around the globe to what has become the biggest wrestling stage in the world, Iowa. In step with its standing as a pioneer in the sport, the Iowa City Coralville community, aka Wrestletown USA, has helped shape the next generation of wrestlers and wrestling by not just welcoming women to the sport, but celebrating them.
You know, there's something about the state of Iowa, the University of Iowa, and the sport of wrestling. It doesn't matter the event, whether you're a college team and you're coming in to wrestle and cover Hawkeye Arena, or if you're a high school team and you're coming in to wrestle in the Donnybrook High School Wrestling Tournament, or you're an international wrestler and you're coming in to wrestle in the World Cup. I mean, people know what wrestling represents in Iowa City, Coralville, Wrestletown USA.
Yeah, I think what's special about this place is how wrestling really is built into the fabric of our community. And it has been like that for decades. Kids growing up, seeing wrestlers from their hometown achieving success on the national and international level, their brothers, their fathers, and fathers before that. And now, as of late, these past several years, with those little girls and little sisters.
The movement itself of Wrestletown USA, it really comes down to the people.
The passion towards wrestling here, at any level, whether it's kids, high school, men's, women's, boys, girls, it's a feeling and people love it. And I feel like they can't get enough of it.
One of the coolest things about fans in this area and fans of the Iowa wrestling and the Iowa programs is that they know great wrestling when they see it. They don't need to be told that something spectacular has happened or that a moment is building and something important is happening. They recognize it when they see it.
That vision put Wrestletown USA at the forefront again in 2021, when the University of Iowa added the first Division I Power 5 women's wrestling program.
We're bringing in women's wrestling. We're gonna grow this. We're gonna give the opportunity to the girls out there growing up doing this sport and learning from the sport. We're gonna give them an opportunity at the collegiate level. And what better place to do it than Wrestletown USA? And that's what we're about. This is Wrestletown USA. And we just continue to prove it over and over and over again on a regular basis. And the Iowa Women's Wrestling and the program that we have here and the international, that's just more proof in the pudding.
Well, I think it starts, you go back to the first duel that the team ever held. It would have been, I think, November of 2023. That it was Iowa hosted the 3 other, at that time, Division I women's wrestling programs at Carver Hawkeye Arena. For the first time ever, women's wrestling for the Hawkeyes in that historic environment. And they set a world record for attendance for a women's wrestling event. And I think that just sort of set the table for what the program has continued to grow and evolve into. It's such a great blend of not only great coaches, but people who appreciate and promote the history of wrestling, especially on the women's side, and where it's going and what it can be.
Just 5 years ago, I think there were 81 girls wrestling in Iowa, and this year there's over 4,000. It's the fastest growing sport in the United States. It's going to continue to explode, and hopefully that carries through across the planet.
Wrestletown USA isn't just for Iowans, welcoming the sport's national and international elite for the highest level tournaments, including athletes from countries in conflict, facing political pushback or security obstacles, embracing them into a wrestling community that celebrates all styles of sparring, regardless of the flag on their singlet.
We opened up this year hosting Team USA and members of Team France. And then midway through semester, we had Canada come in and Brock University. Now, currently, we're closing this semester out with Team USA and Team Ukraine. Wrestling people itself wants to come to Iowa City and Coralville. They want to train here.
Wrestling has created so much diversity along in the world. People coming from different places, and for women, we have so many nations getting that have been a part of wrestling for a very long time, but we also have more who are getting involved and are getting extremely good. And so, the competition itself is increasing. So I think that when people come to, for Pan Ams, for whether it's World Cup, whether it's World Championships, I believe our community here in Iowa City is just going to really enjoy the competitiveness amongst the whole world that women's wrestling can bring.
Far from the hype and fan base of Wrestletown USA are the night raids and bombing campaigns of Ukraine, where athletes train after hours, in shelters, and under threat. So when the Ukrainian Women's Wrestling Federation visited Eastern Iowa for the World Cup in 2022, they found an extended wrestling family and a home away from home, and have returned again and again, including in December 2025, at the invitation of the Iowa Women's Wrestling Club, created to support female wrestlers post-graduation at the international level.
The partnership is significant. Anytime we have the opportunity as Americans, as athletes here in Iowa, to train with the world's best, it's great for the sport of wrestling, right? But it's also great for our people. In August, we had France here. We've had Japan here. We've had Mongolia here. We've had India here. All of those opportunities to open up our community's horizon and acceptance of the world and the people in the world is something that we should all celebrate, and I think we do here in our community, and that's why it is such a special place.
Despite language barriers and cultural differences, the University of Iowa and Ukrainian women found common ground on the wrestling mat, grappling, lifting, drilling, and pushing each other during a 2-week training camp, unifying the athletes through the international art of wrestling.
No matter where you're coming from in the world, we try and really tailor the experience to you, your people, or your culture. And we've done that this past week with Ukraine. Ukraine is a special, special community, a special, special country. And, this is the 3rd time they've been here. I absolutely love everything about their team and their federation.
They made those girls feel like they're superstars here, and we joining various events, social activities, which I cannot express properly what it feels, how we feel, but I can definitely tell that Iowa City put a lot of effort to ensure that the team is welcomed and the team feels well. We having best possible conditions, and that's without doubt.
Тут дівчата дуже завзяті, вони дуже трудолюбні, дуже працюють над собою, обмінюються знаннями з нами. Тобто, я вважаю, що це круті дівчата.
Це супер. Це давно я такого не переживав, не відчував таких емоцій позитивних, які пов'язані саме з командою і з тим, як цю команду підтримують у місті, і, я так розумію, тут в прилеглих районах. Це підтримка.
Перш за все, якщо чесно, відчуваю любов від цих людей, як би дивно це не звучало, вони всі такі привітні, такі добрі, чесно кажучи, це дуже приємно. Нас дуже круто прийняли, дуже гостеприємні люди, всі нам дуже раді, дуже стараються, щоб ми тут почували себе як вдома, справді. Ми себе так і почуваємо, так як вдома. Мені тут дуже подобається атмосфера в команді, атмосфера серед дівчат, серед тренерів, як вони спілкуються, як вони чують один одного, як вони доносять інформацію, на чому вони наголошують. От це мені більше всього подобається тут. Смачні бургери, смачна піца, смачна їжа, якою нас пригощають кожного дня. Дякую Льошу з його сім'єю. Для нас дуже цінно, що нас так прийняли тепло тут.
Для мене Айова особлива. Я вже тут 3-й раз, і я надзвичайно рада повертатися кожного разу сюди. Тут надзвичайна підтримка, надзвичайні люди, і для мене це мене наповнює. Я дуже рада знову і знову повертатися сюди і тренуватися з найкращими дівчатками.
Люди дуже доброзичливі дуже. Я цього не бачила ніколи, щоб настільки були люди завжди задоволені, завжди посміхалися.
They care about every detail, and that translates to everything what they do here in Iowa. Every small detail, if it's Ukraine or if it's mat session, if it's some social activity, I can feel that they deliver, and probably because of that they're so successful. It's culture.
It's bigger than the sport of wrestling. It's creating relationships with people beyond our borders. It is about sharing culture. It is about, being fierce competitors on the mat, and then off the mat, having friendships, and relationships. And so that is very special. I don't look at it as us giving anyone anything, I look at it as like coming together. I don't look at it as like a give and take, but more of let's come together and let's grow together. Let's create memories together. Let's learn about each other, and it's unifying.
Capping their visit to Wrestletown, USA, Team Ukraine faced off in a duel against Team USA, showcasing world and Olympic medalists at the highest level of international competition on the same stage that just an hour earlier hosted female wrestlers from area high schools, in awe to be competing in front of their idols.
Why Coralville? Why Iowa City? Why in the middle of the US? Because it's wrestling. It's Wrestletown, USA, and people here love wrestling. They're ready to show up for wrestling and to support wrestling, whether it's freestyle, folk style, men or women, and whether it's a high school event or now a USA Wrestling international event. It's a big deal to the people here, and they make sure it comes off well.
By blending the sports present with its future from around the globe and down the street, Wrestletown USA offered a masterclass in reaching across borders, generations, styles, and skill levels, highlighting the For Her mantra that's defined the Hawkeye women's mission to inspire an upcoming wave of female wrestlers. As we live in the emergence, growth, and expansion era of a blood, sweat, and tear sport at the center of the heart of Wrestletown, USA, we look ahead to a future of dominance. Not just by female wrestlers, but female leaders, with the Iowa City Coralville community continuing its role uniting nations, athletes, and fans through an unparalleled brand of wrestling diplomacy.
Wrestletown USA and the brand only survives and is strengthened when we collectively deliver the promise behind that brand. And that promise is the experience, the acceptance, the exceeding of hospitality and expectations from the moment they land at the Eastern Iowa Airport to the day that they depart.
What we have done in this area for the sport of wrestling has never been done anywhere else, and it never will be. Everybody's gonna want to come to this area, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger all the time. And that's kudos to our community and Josh Schamberger and Iowa City Sports Commission. You know, it's just nonstop. It's bringing more and more events in high school, collegiate, international. It's just like our community, our fans can't get enough, and people love to come here because the accommodations are second to none. Like, you can't get this anywhere else.
Wrestling is a sport defined by dominance, control, triumph, and defeat. But by bringing athletes together for battle, it also has the power to unite, creating common ground and good where athletes new and advanced can learn from one another, push one another, and find support, not just from each other, but the community in which they train and compete. From the 2023 launch of the Iowa Women's Wrestling Club to the fans that pack Carver Hawkeye Arena, no place has deeper roots, stronger ties, or a clear mission and vision for her and for the future of the sport of wrestling than Wrestletown, USA.